Hey, it's Dr. Brad with some exciting results. The first result from the Hayabusa2 probe, which landed on the asteroid Ryugu a few years ago. So the Hayabusa2 probe went all the way through space, landing and reaching the asteroid Ryugu around 2018 and 2019. Now, what this probe did is it went down to the surface twice to grab and sample rocks from this pristine asteroid. On the first time, as you're seeing, it went down to the surface, vacuumed and scooped up as much rock as it could and contained and kept it in this canister. In fact, on the second time, there was about a little bullet that was released with 5 kilograms of C4, and we kind of blew a hole in the asteroid, creating a new crater that then the probe went and sucked all of this up. And after spending time at the asteroid, the probe then left the asteroid, made a return journey back, and parachuted the samples in South Australia in Woomera in December 2020. And since then, scientists have been drooling over these rocks, over these samples, to figure out exactly what is the composition of this asteroid. Now, this asteroid was chosen, Ryugu, because it was believed to be one of the remnants of the solar system. We think it's called what we call a Carbonischondrite. That's the type of asteroid or meteorites that we find on the ground. And essentially, it's kind of like the stuff that was present when the solar system was formed, and that's it. It hasn't really changed. If you look at geology on Earth or Mars, we've had lots of changes. And so the stuff on the surface is less likely to be what was present 4.6 billion years ago. On this asteroid, that is not the case. And this is exactly what the samples have revealed, that this is the most pristine, and when we say pristine, we mean hasn't changed stuff in our solar system, that it formed 4.6 billion years ago, and that's it. And so we're excited because this gives us a glimpse into what was the exact stuff present when our entire solar system formed. What was the dusty, rocky stuff, not the gas, but the solid stuff that goes into the sun, goes into the Earth, goes into Mars, and went into everything else. And this is exactly what these samples have shown. In fact, we've been able to date it to within 3 million years of when this stuff was created. 3 million years, 4.6 billion years ago. So that's a really precise date of when the first stuff formed in our solar system. And they found some really cool things like amino acids. In fact, 23 amino acids were found on this asteroid in these samples. And amino acids are the stuff that goes into proteins, these building blocks that essentially are necessary for life. So a really exciting result to see that all of this stuff was present when our solar system was formed 4.6 billion years ago. And some exciting and slightly troubling news from the James Webb Space Telescope, that new telescope launched by NASA in December. A micrometeoroid, so a very, very small rock, hit one of the mirrors. Now, this was kind of planned. We do know there's bits of rock and dust traveling through space at thousands of kilometers an hour. And they modeled and planned for this, except it was a tad too big for what they expected. Now, the mirror wasn't destroyed, but what did happen is this little rock knocked one of the segments out of alignment. So this mirror has multiple segments. It's like a honeycomb. And one of those small segments was slightly bumped out of alignment. Now, it actually hasn't distorted the images at all, but in order to still get that crisp, clear, best image they want, they spent a little bit of time realigning it. In fact, this was a big part of the work a few months ago, getting all of these mirror segments to align. So, a bit of a surprise, but not a dramatic change in the plans, because now the plans of the James Webb Space Telescope are to release the very first colored image on July 12th, so pretty much a month from now. So when we say colored image, we mean kind of like the first proper scientifically wowing image. We have seen previous images before. Now, these are actually all just calibration, alignment, test images. These actually aren't even science images. This is just the stuff to make sure everything's working. So this isn't the proper data that we're going to get or the proper images. And in fact, the color that we see and have seen in these previous images are actually just grayscale. It's a monotone color, but they just shade the intensity. So it's actually not looking red. So the very first colored images, you can imagine those beautiful images we get from Hubble. That's what we're going to see, but with the clarity and power and resolution of the James Webb Space Telescope. So I cannot wait for in a month. And China has sent the next batch of 3 taikonauts. So taikonauts is the name that China uses for their astronauts, just as Russia uses cosmonauts. These 3 taikonauts are up there for 6 months with the biggest job probably ever, and that is to complete the building of their Tiangong Space Station. So this space station will have 3 main modules. They've been operating and getting the first main module working. The second and third modules will be set up over the next few months. And so these taikonauts' job is to get it, make sure it's assembled, get it up and running, and then have a fully functional space station online or in space ready to go at the end of the year. So they have a super busy 6 months of getting this all up and running. And then at the end of their mission, a next batch of astronauts or taikonauts will go up to essentially do the first full normal mission. Their job is to building it, but just use it and do the science. And that handover should happen in December. Exciting news in the space world from China. Exciting news in the space world from asteroid samples and the James Webb Space Telescope. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube to stay up to date with space.